Oh my gosh, oh my goodness. It is fire in the streets, smoke in the city. Lewis Hamilton has opened up with Vanity Fair about the affairs and the scandal that took place in Abu Dhabi, as well as other things. I think this is very important. Like, you know me, like I'm not just because it comes out the day of, I'm gonna talk about it when the hell I want to talk about, how I want to talk about it, and you know, all that other bullshit. It is what it is, but nonetheless, let's get to it. Yeah, this is important. Lewis Hamilton opens up about the issues that took place, the problem, the scandal, the situation. And I'm going to tell you right now, he outright pretty much says they cheated him. They cheated him. All right. And I think we all know this. We all know that it wasn't proper. But I think it's important to finally hear his side of the story. And I think it speaks loudly when somebody has the opportunity upon chance, upon platform, upon microphones, upon cameras to speak about something and protest the situation, but they don't. They really are. Well, no need to say they. Sir Lewis Hamilton really was in a place where he just didn't want to say anything. It struck him that bad. If you've ever been in a situation, even microcosmically on a level as this, which probably is a smaller level. If bigger, hey, congrats out to you being on something that was like worldwide changing. But if not, if you've ever done what you were supposed to do, competed and been the best on that field, on that stage, on that court, in that auditorium, wherever the competition may be, and yet and still they found a way to not acknowledge that you were the best and give it to somebody who was subpar. The feeling that comes with that, knowing that you have just been shafted either because this person has a horse in the race, or this person is that person's trainer, or this person is an old coach and their vote is all types of things that could take place. And in this situation, Michael Massey, and I'm not going to let him get away with the fact of saying he made an ill decision or an ill-advised decision. Michael Massey did something under advisement of another competing team, Jonathan Wheatley and Christian Horner of Red Bull, to break the rules and the protocol that he so-called chose to implement. All right. He can choose to implement different protocols as race director, but he cannot then modify and change those protocols to the way he see fit to skew things as he did. OK, and I'm not going to let people get away with just saying it's Michael Massey. It's Michael Massey. It's the stewards. It's Jonathan Wheatley. It's Christian Horner. Not Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is only responsible for having character after the race and standing up for what was right, which he did not, which makes him an accomplice. All right. He got the trophy, but it still makes him an accomplice because he know he didn't do what's right. It's not in his character. We've seen Max's character. All right. I'm not talking about Max's driving ability, Max's skill to drive. I'm talking about his shit character. So I got some of the bits that were in this article. And I'm just going to randomly pick some and then speak to them and give my opinion on what I think. And starting first, let's just look at this picture. This is the image of Lewis Hamilton just after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the championship race. They go in at even points. And this is him sitting in this car far longer than you've ever probably seen him sit in a car. And you hear him come over the radio and say it's been manipulated. He is sitting there trying to find a way to understand, trying to find a way to carry on with what has just happened to him. And there's something that he can't get back. 5 times back-to-back champion, he can't get that back. Even if he gets his 8th world championship title next year or the year after next year, 2023, 2024, he can never get 5 times back-to-back undisturbed. That's something they took from him, and he can't get it back. And all that is sitting on his shoulders right there and in that image. When you go back and watch it, if you read this article and go back and watch it, it's even heavier now than it was then. Okay. But some of the article we have here pretty much tell us and talk about the things that took place here. And as you see, the only few black kids in my school being put in the lowest classes and never given a chance to progress or even help to progress. Teachers were telling me, you're never going to be nothing. I remember being behind the shed in tears like I'm not going to be anything and believing in it for a split second. Even today, he can still list the specific teachers who reinforced this message. Now, I want you to think about that. And there are several kids that go through this. And some that overcome those oppressors and go on to do some pretty good things. I'm not saying all of them graduate from high school or go to college, but they end up doing some great things. But there are way more that do not get out of that slump that people push them down into to do something. And Lewis Hamilton is one of those success stories. He's one of those success stories. Okay. Been going through adversity since a kid. Now in this particular piece that I read you, it wasn't highlighted as racist then, but if you read the article yourself, because I think you should read it. I'm not going to cover the whole article for you. I'm going to cover bits, but you should definitely read the article. It does go into that and speak to that. And this is happening in more than it should, and in more places than I would like it to. Okay. I myself have mentored young gentlemen that have undergone some of these oppressor type situations, have undergone some of these negative obstacles that people constantly throw in their way. And I can tell you that it affects them. It affects them. All right. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to this next one. And the next bit, it says Hamilton's improbable ascendancy began even as he floundered at school. From 6, he proved himself a wonder kid at guiding remote control cars, beating adults, and appearing on British TV. And everybody, or most people, probably remember that Lewis Hamilton FM4 channel radio driving a Grasshopper. I forget which car it was. Might have been a Grasshopper. At 8, he demonstrated similar aptitude for karting before graduating to progressively more powerful cars. By 12, his parents, who had split when he was 2, his mother is white, his father black, agreed that he should live with his father, who could best nurture his evident talent. All right. Now, Anthony Hamilton, don't get this twisted. I already had a guest on this show, and Mike and Joshua will tell you that the karting is expensive. Anthony Hamilton worked 3, 4 jobs, family supporting Lewis's dream of becoming a Formula One driver one day. And it worked. He has arrived. He has become and is the greatest Formula One driver to date. Yes, we hope that we see another reach said levels and beyond. That's only growth in the sport, right? We want to see these growths. We want to see these spectacular human beings come and perform in their right and just take things to a new level. But right now it's Lewis, and nobody has taken things to the level he has in the sport and outside of the sport. Okay. And I apologize for how some of this looking. I'm just coming up here talking about this freestyle. We're not trying to do a bunch of dress up and all that little cutesy stuff. Like, I'm going to give my opinion on some of these things because some of the things are very important for people to understand. Lewis and Thanos said this on an episode that we had for Performance Talk. He debated and said that one of Lewis's greatest accomplishments was actually making it into Formula One. How many black men have you seen enter Formula One and on top of that become cream of the crop on the grid? All right. It's unprecedented. It's unheard of. It hasn't happened until him. And that is something that should be saluted. All right. All right. So we're going to go on to the next one. Let's check this next one out. See what they're talking about. All right. So this goes in this part of the article. Like I said, I don't want to read the whole article. I want to leave some things out because I want you to read it for yourself so you can get your own idea, your own conclusions, your own feeling for what, if you're interested in it. If you're not, you're not, But this situation right here, several beaten by 6 boys, severely beaten by 6 boys. Hamilton was one of many drawn by the commotion, but took no part. In the days that followed, as those responsible were identified and punished, Hamilton was called into the headmaster's office. As Hamilton remembers it, the headmaster told him, "I don't have the evidence just yet to get rid of you." And Hamilton responds, "What do you mean?" Hamilton says he retorted, "I didn't do anything." A couple of weeks later, you will find that in this article, a couple of weeks later, the headmaster calls him back in and says, "I have what I need to get rid of you," gets rid of Hamilton, expels him from school, Comes to find out, Hamilton had nothing to do with it. Is allowed back in school, but does not return to that school, goes to another school. Okay. And then there's more to the story. But the thing with this story is that definitely hit me at home is the fact that how many kids, I don't care what color, what walk of life, what country, what ethnicity, how many people, let me say that, have had situations that you may have been around and that you were made part of a situation that you did not take part in. All right. You could be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And so many of these things have happened. And on another note, so many people have decided to get in a car, take a ride with said individuals. Said individuals commit a crime, and now you are part of that crime, and your future's over. And in this article, it goes in, or in this portion, it goes in to say how Hamilton was concerned that his racing career might be over, which, I highly doubt at that age, but it's possible, right? Because he's already got the cards stacked against him for being black. Let's just be true about that. He's already got the card. They're not looking for opportunity to push him up. They're looking for an example to be made of, or an excuse or reason to get rid of him. Something to cast him out and block him. That is what he is going up against. Whereas other people are having situations where people are looking for chances to try to uplift and push them up. It's in the reverse for Hamilton and so many other people in situations like this. Next, let's talk about another piece. All right, so this goes in to talk about his view. He's going into some of his endeavors that he's been doing. A vegan restaurant in London, Neat Burger, is now expanding into the U.S. with Leonardo DiCaprio recently coming on board as a partner. I like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's one of my favorite actors. And there's also Hollywood. Hamilton is one of the producers of a Formula One movie to be directed by Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski, and produced and featuring Brad Pitt. All right. Now, Hamilton does also go in here and pretty much say that he's not looking to be himself in the movie. It's cliche for him to be a Formula One driver. I think what he's avoiding is I don't, just because the movie is about something that I do on a very high elite level, or even maybe about me, I don't need to play in it. And I think a lot of people make that mistake, right? The movie's about your life and you want to play in the movie because you want the credit for that, right? You want the credit for playing yourself in a movie that's going to go out across screens amongst the world, and you want that credit. But oftentimes you don't see that you're actually blocking the potential of what that movie can be because you're not ready to take that movie to the level as an actor or an actress. And I think it's a good decision that Hamilton made not to take part as acting in this movie, and to basically be behind the scenes and trying to be sure that the movie holds true to what he wants to present to the world. So I thought that was really cool. Like I said, there's more to the article. Check it out. All right. So the next thing is this right here goes to pretty much what majority of you want to talk about. And like I said, you need to read the article if you want to read more about it, because there's a ton more than what you're going to see here. Before this final race of the Formula One season, Hamilton and the much younger Dutch firebrand Max Verstappen were tied on points. Whoever finished ahead of the other in Abu Dhabi would become champion. And if it was Hamilton, he would be the first man in history to win 8 world championships. With 5 laps to go, Hamilton was leading Verstappen by 11 seconds. Now, we also know it was by as much as 14 seconds in one portion of the race. Anywhere between 10 and 14 seconds is what he had got Max by. Bearing a random puncture or anything like that. So it goes in to say, like, barring anything that would happen, like a power unit failure, a puncture, maybe he comes off track, anything like that, he was for sure going to be the championship, win the championship, and be an 8-time world champion. Break the record right now, tied with Michael Schumacher. Big shout out. Hopefully, I don't know what his status is right now, but hopefully it improves. If not, big shout out and blessings to the family for dealing with what you have to go through. It could be hard having a family member and watching them like that over the course of years. Big strength and shout out to him, Mick. Hope you continue to do well. But Lewis Hamilton was going to do that. And in that portion of this article, he goes in to talk about he surely does not believe that they are going to cheat him. He does not think this is going to happen. It can't happen. It isn't going to happen. And it happens. And they cheated him. And he says this. And you need to read the article to see how he felt and what he was going through when it happened. But was staged. It was manufactured. That ending was manufactured. Yes, it was going to be anticlimactic, ending under the safety car. Yes, we know they said they had a meeting. No, it wasn't going to end under the safety car, but nobody had a meeting saying that they were going to bend, break, and alter the rules to have the outcome of the champion that they wanted to have. They took advantage of that, and that's what happened. We saw several races before, several races back. They red flagged the race. I don't even think the entire debris was cleared off the track before they told the safety car to come off. We already know that they did not unlap all of the cars as they should have been in the protocol, that any car that the race leader had lapped should unlap themselves. All right? They're trying to get hung up on this word of any and all. Come on, stop the BS. Let's stop it right there, all right? Max got the championship. Nobody's taking that back. We know they're not going to do that. That'd be too much like making things right. He's got it. Just be real. Boy didn't get it right, though. It's not legit. And Hamilton goes into this, and I thought that was a monumental part of this entire article, because the world who watches Formula One and may not be heavily involved in Hamilton's other endeavors, the other things he's building, like being part owner of the Denver Broncos, like his Hamilton Commission, like 44X, like everything, the fashion, everything else this man has his hands tied into, that has solidified the fact that if he leaves Formula One, he will not shrink one bit. He will not shrink one bit. Okay. All right. Let's see another portion of this. All right. This portion right here is under F1 rules. Hamilton now seemed destined to win the rather anticlimactic. This is what I was saying. He says race director appeared to improvise a ruling under the intense pressure of the moment, one without precedent, which allowed for one final lap of superficially competitive racing. It was a lap Hamilton would have no realistic prospect of winning, because Verstappen, who was right behind him, was on much fresher tires. All right. And then you will need to read the rest of that article to see what they say about that, because I definitely want to promote Vanity Fair for doing what they did. It is a good article, and you should read it. But here it goes into another GOAT and another sport, football, which Hamilton just recently entered into with the Denver Broncos, as I was just talking about. Brady, who was standing in front of his TV watching what he calls just the craziest of all crazy endings, observes he handled it as gracefully as anyone possibly could have imagined. There would be no public venting of any kind. Instead, Hamilton walked over to the declared victor, Verstappen, shook his hand, congratulated him. Watching this, Lucas, a man who has fairly notable history when it comes to the subject, what does he say here? He was about to speak of, leaned over to Hobson and said, heroes are bigger than champions. Lewis just earned hero status. Now, a lot of you who hate Lewis Hamilton, and I'm going to say it because he's black and he's great, who hate Lewis Hamilton because maybe he seems like a goody two shoes and you don't have a lot of dirt on him, who hate Lewis Hamilton because he's a damn great driver without being extremely dirty like other drivers, and he's 7-time world champion, who hate him for any reason. Really, you hate anybody like Lewis Hamilton and others because you admire what they have, and it's a deficiency in what you don't have. That's why. And I'm here to tell you, and I've said it several times, you hate or you're jealous of another person comes from you being admiring or liking or loving what they have, do, and you don't. Lewis Hamilton reached hero status by being in a situation where myself, I don't know if I could have handled it like he did. He showed the ultimate composure, the ultimate character, the ultimate gentleman, ultimate sternness, by going over after being shafted, still shaking, it's on camera, still shaking Max's hand. Anthony Hamilton, his father who raised him, still going up, dapping up Max, and still giving Haas the damn bro hug, congratulating them both, knowing what just had happened. What the hell else more would you all want from somebody, a human being, to do in that situation? Sir Hamilton handled that shit above. It's a great article. Y'all need to read it. Y'all need to check it out. I'm not going to read it all to you because, it is what it is, and it is good. Check it out. Read it for yourself. Whether you like Hamilton or you don't, there's something in there for everybody to take a piece of and possibly apply it to your life. So yeah, gains. Get those gains in character, all right? Lewis Hamilton got gains in character. You feel me? Like, I might got physical gains along with him, but gains in character, he has displayed some of the utmost character. And that is somebody that you can tell your kids to look to and say, that is how you should conduct yourself. I mean, we've seen a little bit of how Max Verstappen might conduct himself, right? I think we've seen some of that, right? We seen this. Is this what you gonna tell your kids to go and how you want your kids to conduct themselves? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, that's not what real champions do. And even when things get heated, but if you know that situation, you should know Max did some weak shit. So anyway, we're going to have more coming up this week. We will be live Sunday. I'm trying to, keep it real and keep real in touch with you all through this summer break. We're going to talk about things that might even develop through this week. Last video came out and people were wondering about the floors. Me and Bryson were talking to some things. Listen, we're going to see what's going to happen when they come back, and things should be in order by then, hopefully. But let's not act like if they're not, we're going to be surprised. All right, just build it. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching another video here at Wolfpack Performance. Check out some of my other content on Formula One issues, our topics, and our DIY products on how to customize your vehicle. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.